I call this workshop meeting to order at 4:01 on February 12th, 2024. Will you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, please read the roll call.
Roll call. Supervisor Evans,
Here.
Councilman Malone,
Present.
Councilman Perticone,
Here.
Councilman Weiner. Attorney for the town?
Here.
First, I want to thank the town staff for a great weekend. On Saturday, as you know, we had a great Winterfest, and it's pretty unique because our Winterfest is not weather dependent. So, Madam Director, you did a great job. Your staff did a great job. People were engaged. The community loved having the event. So I want to commend you and your staff on a great job that they did. And then on Sunday, there's a Cupid's race, Cupid's run. And I want to really, Chief Peters, thank your police officers for their performance and crossing guards. On both days, the crossing guards did a great job. And I don't think that the community realized what a treasure they have in those two groups. Right now, we have a presentation by the Irondequoit Ambulance. Report to the community.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Tom Kirchhoff. I'm the chief of Irondequoit Ambulance. I've worked for Irondequoit for about 27 years now, so I've been there for quite a while. And my report will be rather short for you. I have a presentation for you to read and review at your leisure. We'd like to do a report every year to let everyone know what goes on in the ambulance in the town. It's quite busy. We see increases every year in call volume and pressures to maintain readiness for the town. Last year we had over 8,300 requests for service, about 5,400 of them being in the town alone, and the rest of those requests to assist other communities. We currently staff 4 ambulances on the day shift, 2 of them on the overnight shift. And through 2023, we've pretty much done the east side of Irondequoit. On March 15th, 2024, we will take over service to the St. Paul Boulevard Fire District area, and we'll provide service to almost the entire town. Seabreeze still runs an ambulance in their area, Seabreeze Fire District. So a little package of information for you to look at, discusses response times, discusses mutual aid requests, discusses requests in town, what types, really a lot of what we see during the year, and put some facts and figures for a lot of people to look at, that this is quite a busy organization than it used to be. When I started, I think we had 1,200 calls a year. We had pretty much one ambulance on 24 hours a day, and now we are busy almost all the time for requests. I left my business card with each of these. If anyone wants to ask me any questions, you're more than welcome to. If you'd like to come down and look at the operation, understand a little bit more about what we do, how we deploy, and how we will station our vehicles in the town. Our current station is at 2330 Norton Street, which was perfectly situated for our original districts. And on March 15th, we'll be adding another truck 24 hours a day to cover everything on the west side of town. We're dispatched from the 911 center. And the 911 center, the computer-aided dispatch will select the closest, most appropriate vehicle to go to the calls in those areas. Okay, any questions for me?
Tom, yeah, I have one question. Tom, those 5,400 calls in Irondequoit, I'm certainly sure included some on the west side and Seabreeze.
So Seabreeze only runs what they call a basic life support ambulance, and we are the primary advanced life support provider. That is a paramedic that comes with all of the pre-hospital medications, IVs, and cardiac monitoring that's done in the field. So we provide that service to Seabreeze up there. We also cover mutual aid in the St. Paul Boulevard Fire District when the current contractor, Monroe, is unable to cover.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? It's quite a bit of reading. I didn't want to go through the whole thing for you and waste your time.
Okay,
but
thank you.
I'm sure there's enough stuff for you to read.
Forgive it, yeah. Thank you, Tom.
There you go.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Next, we have a presentation by Joe Mervine from Fifth Frame Brewing Company. Fifth Frame. Next, we have Brian White, 1700 Hudson Avenue.
Hello, my name is Brian White from McMahon LaRue Associates. I'm here today to follow up on our previous December town board meeting where we're pursuing rezoning for a portion of 1700 Hudson Avenue. Since our last meeting, our team has been hired by the plaza owner, the Ridge Hudson Plaza, for a separate contract for engineering services in relation to the parking lot expansion towards the rear side of the building. I have provided a color sketch or schematic plan. Do you all have a copy of that? Oh, okay. I have another one that I can show you. Unfortunately, I only have one copy. Yep. Well, that's, yeah. So it's very similar. If you'd like to see the colorized version.
You have one?
It's in the,
Oh, it is?
here. There you go.
So following our December meeting that was held, we noted concerns from the board regarding drainage and conceptual layout for the parking area. Our team has been working to address those two items. We have investigated the drainage on the site with our survey crew and identified that it all drains to the northeasterly portion of the parcel where the proposed parking will go. We're actively working to incorporate that into our design, but at this point we're at a conceptual level. But we did want to provide a layout of the parking area. We're proposing 50 spaces for that northeasterly portion of the parcel, and with the intent that employees would park in the rear area, and also the vacancy, which would be the corner of the plaza, the elbow of the L-shaped plaza, is intended to be a wholesale distributor for restaurants. So it would be for like pallets of water and food and things of that nature. I did review the zoning code related to parking requirements, and this isn't official by any means, but it gives us an idea. It was addressed by the property owner that there was inadequate parking for that property. We went through and counted all the spaces, and then we divvied that up for uses within the plaza. So by my count, I have a total of 297 parking spaces throughout the plaza. The Walgreens is technically a separate tax parcel for that area, but I counted that they utilize 64 of those spaces. And when you break down by code for parking requirements, strictly for the plaza, 318 spaces would be required for parking. Of the 297, minus the 64 for the Walgreens, we have an approximate deficiency of parking by 85 spaces. So the client is seeking an additional 50 spaces towards the rear end of the parcel for employee parking. Regarding drainage, the increase to impervious area for that section would be handled independently. Certainly the existing storm system in the primary parking lot, it's our understanding it actually drains underneath the building to the north pavement parking area, and then it goes to the east. So where we show our proposed parking lot is actually where all the water on the site ends up through the storm sewer. And we're looking at two options, either a subgrade chamber that would hold stormwater or a retention pond at this time.
What was the second choice?
Retention pond, so there would be no net increase for stormwater within this proposed parking lot project.
Where would the pond go, on the east side of that on the parking lot?
Yeah, I know it seemed that your plotting wasn't colorized, but just east of the parking lot, actually, of the conveyance area for rezoning, about 70 feet. So from the easterly edge of the parking lot, there's 70 feet to the property line. We didn't see any buffer requirements in the zoning code for parking. So we're allowing, again, at this time, approximately 70 feet for vegetative screening or a green space area, which would actually help total impervious coverage for the entire parcel.
And I just think, I don't know if you can answer this, but I know some of the questions were, is there really a need, this is strictly for employees, right? That's what it's going to be for.
Ultimately, it's for employee parking, and also it's a through road. They're looking to have a wholesale retail business on the
Okay.
elbow there.
And then
so
they'll-
it would be for a truck loading and unloading area. There's an existing loading dock there already. So that would allow a trailer to come in off of East Ridge Road through the back of the property, and then unload in the corner of the plaza, and then leave there through Hudson Avenue. So it serves two purposes in this case. And after reviewing some of the code requirements for parking required, I think that we do have a deficiency in parking.
Yeah, and I mean, is he going to, well, see this stuff, that, is he going to tell some of the owners that this is where some of the employees have to park? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Because it
can't
looks
answer.
like, if I'm an employee, I park there, I got to walk all the way around, unless, I don't know what kind of access they have in the back there. They probably have some access on the north side.
There are
I mean-
entry doors on the north side of the building. I think that there are a few on the east side, but I'm not
Okay.
entirely familiar with the interior layout. Certainly, it would help mitigate some of the employee
Yeah.
parking in the primary lot.
So one of the concerns I know was that this parking lot has never been filled with cars, and that as it exists now, even when the muffler or the tire business was in full throttle, and correct me if I'm wrong, council members, that this parking lot has never ever reached capacity. So I know that some of the concerns is that this is maybe a little bit overkill on increasing that space. With that, you still think you need an additional 50 with the business you're bringing in?
Yeah, so I did do a count on the businesses within the plaza. It's my understanding there's 3 vacancies currently. The one, I think it was Dunn Tire on the south side there. They do have a tenant for that space in progress right now. It's going to be a similar type of use for that area. And then there's an additional 2 vacancies where the Rookies bar was, and then there's also a retail space just east of that in the building. So with those, anticipating full utilization of the plaza, I think that there will be a deficiency.
So you have 1 tenant or 3 tenants?
Technically, there's 3 vacant tenants currently.
Well, I mean, you say you have 1 tenant moving into the Dunn Tower.
Correct.
You have 2 other tenants moving in, or that's just proposed?
The space is available, not to my knowledge that there's been anyone to speak for that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any additional questions?
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Now we move to the department head reports. IT Director?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. IT's looking to close out a couple projects. The week of February 20th, the financial system will be live. This will kind of be like a soft launch with just the financial Office of the Comptroller using it and integrating departments over the coming months. Access control and cameras, that project's finally rolling, finishing up. All the cameras are done at the community center. All the additional cameras that were added are being done at the community center, and the locks will be fully done over there for swipe access within the next couple weeks. So at that point, the town, instead of having several different systems, will just have one access control and camera system. Also at the community center, the swipe access for the workout room, that system is being installed this week and should be up and running very shortly. Other than that, just general infrastructure build-outs. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Seeing none, Madam Commissioner?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Yeah, we are currently also still moving through our paving plan, looking forward to 2024. We have requested other utilities, what their projects and thoughts are for next year, just so we can make sure we're not in conflict with those types of projects. We usually always want utility work done before we go through and pave a road. The tree trimming project is also still going underway. They are rolling thunder. I believe they're very close to halfway through town. So Flower City Tree is moving very well. We also are, you'll see in the agenda for this month, is we are moving forward with a bid award for the Seneca Road reconstruction project. So that's been worked on. We've been working on that for several months, trying to get a solution for that road. So we're happy to get bids in, and they look great, and very excited to get that road put behind us and fully settled. We're also moving forward with design on a pump station, Bellhurst Pump Station, as well as the sidewalk on Titus Avenue in front of the Art Center. Technically, right now, it is not a sidewalk, and we are going to make it one. And the other big thing, which we have an agenda item for tonight, is to vote on what we call the NOI with our stormwater permit. So that's called the Notice of Intent. We have been regulated under the state stormwater permit regulation since 2003. For the last few years, the state has been working through a new permit to regulate all of the towns and what they call MS4s, municipal separate storm sewer systems. So our entire town falls into this category, and it outlines in a way for the town to mitigate our runoff into our natural water bodies. So, only rain down the drain is the slogan, but so we take various steps as a town to make sure that that is the case. The biggest one is education and outreach, but we also monitor construction sites, and we also take our own preventative measures in-house to make sure that we are not contributing to the deficient water, the degradation of water quality in our area. So this new permit is a change in, the biggest changes honestly are education and outreach. So we are a member of the Monroe County Stormwater Coalition, which helps us with education and outreach. I don't know if you ever heard, but Larry the H2O hero, that kind of, all of that. And the education efforts in the past have always been very general. And now the permit is kind of guiding us more in a way that you have to be more targeted. So you have to target residents and what they call like hotspot commercial car washes, mechanic shops, making sure that, you know, this only rain down the drain concept and how they're handling their materials and such. So so there will be a lot. There will be a lot to come with this program. There's certain milestones that we have to meet within 60 days and 90 days and a year and 3 years. You know, and we also fall into a different category because we are surrounded by what they call priority water bodies. So Lake Ontario as well as Irondequoit Bay are specific water bodies that are targeted. So what that means is we have to take a few extra steps to make sure that we're you know, addressing our water quality issues in what they call a watershed. Luckily, I don't know, but we've known that this permit is coming, so that is where in the past few years we have procured a storm truck that is dedicated to cleaning catch basins and storm mains. We got that from a grant through DEC, and we also last year purchased a second street sweeper, because one of the requirements is that we sweep the roads within these priority watersheds more frequently. So I feel very confident we're in a good place to handle this. You know, huge recognition to Chris Brett. He's our GIS technician, as well as Ron Ragusa. He's the foreman in charge of drainage. So we're in a good place with all of this. But you know, I'll keep you guys abreast of the changes that you'll be seeing from us on that.
Madam Commissioner, I just want to, I forgot to address something earlier, which was the fire. Just with the results. So we did get the final results in that it was undisclosed, probably electrical fire. I do want to let you know that 3 vehicles were lost. They were all over 17 years old, and we're waiting for replacements for those vehicles. So they will not affect the winter or any of our operations. They were just simply extra vehicles that we had to be replaced in the next couple of years, and their replacement have been on order for some time. We're just waiting for the chain of supply to catch up with our order.
Yes, that is correct. This and also this fire was not in our primary building. It was in the building that what we call the cold storage, which is the canvas building in the back, where it's where we store various trucks, equipment, and you know, materials that cones, you know, that sort of objects were in the back there. So no, this doesn't have any impact on our snow and ice response or anything like that.
And I understand the mitigation factors of the electrical cutoff switch have been ordered or were on order?
Correct. They are on order. We will be installing those on every vehicle that does not have one. Will have one very shortly. We're performing that in-house. And
all the newer vehicles have them on already?
Everything that we've been ordering, yeah, in the many recent years already had one outfitted. So that's why we're going to take this extra measure to make sure every truck we own has one. And we're also looking into getting a fire monitoring system in that back storage building. When we built it, it was not required. It still isn't required to have a monitoring system back there, due to the nature of the building. But we're going to move forward with installing a monitoring system.
Thank you, Madam Commissioner.
Of course.
Were those vehicles going to auction? The ones?
John,
No.
they were backup in nature. They
Okay.
they didn't sit completely unused. We did use them. They just weren't the primary vehicles. You know, one was not outfitted with a plow. So in off days when we are not, you know, like we're getting plenty recently, when we're not out plowing snow, we might use it to do a dig job or some other task that we don't need a plow insert in the back.
Do we have a cost yet, or what the damage was yet? No?
We are
Still
working
waiting
with it.
on that from the adjuster? Okay,
Yeah,
insurance?
we've met with the adjuster a few times, and
Okay.
I think we have one more visit, and
Okay.
and then we can start
And they'll
working
come up
on
with it?
that.
Okay, thanks.
No problem.
Any more questions? Thank you, Madam Commissioner. Madam Director?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. And thank you for attending Winterfest this weekend, everybody who was able to join us. It was a great day, as Mr. Supervisor had mentioned. We think we had approximately 4,000 to 5,000 folks in attendance throughout the course of the day. The weather held up. It wasn't winter weather, but it did. Mother Nature did right by us on Saturday, so it was a wonderful event. And thanks to everybody who volunteered, came in as a vendor or contractor, and who came in just to enjoy the event. We appreciate everyone's participation. Gearing up for break week camp. School break is next week, so we will have a lot of the kiddos over at the community center for day camps next week. One event to highlight Black History Month that we are partnering with the library on. We will have the East Ridge STEP team coming to the community center on February 24th at 1 o'clock to do a STEP demo and a presentation on the history of STEP. So we're really looking forward to that event as well. And then looking forward into March, Women's History Month. One of the events that we would like to do to highlight that celebration is a Women's Market Expo at the New Market Building. That'll take place on Thursday, March 21st from 4 to 7 p.m. So that is separate from our monthly farmers market, which is the first Thursday of each month. This Women's Expo will be on the third Thursday, which is the 21st from 4 to 7. So hope folks can join us for that as well. And really just gearing up towards summer. It sounds kind of nuts to say, but it is that time. So, summer athletics, softball leagues, golf leagues, Little League Baseball registration, all that good stuff. Summer camp as well, and actually summer camp registration starts on Sunday, April 14th. So that's when folks can get their kids signed up for summer camp this year. We have an extended summer camp as well, so we're looking forward to offering more opportunities for kids and parents this summer. And that's it.
Thank you. Any questions? Chief?
There we go. Apologize. I have a head cold, so you may not be able to understand me too well. Really, biggest thing we're gearing up for right now is the delivery of our two canines. We'll be taking delivery of them on the 25th. Hopefully, it looks like we did testing a couple weeks ago on 4 dogs, and these 2 dogs have amazing temperament. They're 3 years old, Dutch Shepherds, bred in Canada, and so they're actually going to be a pleasure to work with. There was a couple other ones that were not really right fit for us. These ones here will be a lot easier for the new handlers to go deal with. So, and they'll be amazing at any of the community events also. So, March 18th they start the DCJS. Canine Handler School. They'll be there for 16 weeks. They'll be ready by June so that we can be out in their patrol function. Really the biggest thing other than that for us is actually sending a lot of different people to different types of training, starting this whole process coming up, especially for the next couple months, get that out of the way before summer vacations start, and so we feel the personnel crunch, people on vacations, and all the rest of that stuff. So really just trying to move our people, and hopefully looks like a couple of the promotion tests came back from civil service, so it looks like we'll be trying to hopefully make some promotions here in the next couple months also.
Thank you very much. Any questions? And our guys in the academy are still doing well?
Absolutely. They're progressing quite well. In fact, I just read their bi-weekly report from the academy, and no issues. It looks like they're going to be going well, so we're hoping to actually with these personnel promotions, we're looking to actually possibly put 2 more people in the academy starting in May. So,
Excellent. Any questions? Madam Clerk?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. So we're in the middle of the tax season. The deadline is actually the 10th of February to collect taxes, but it was extended until today since the 10th was on a Saturday with no interest. But we'll continue to collect taxes up through May. Right now, we just really are focusing on passports, dog licenses, handicap tags, bingo, and we're still continuing to struggle with staffing. So we're trying to fill that position as soon as possible.
Madam Attorney?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Just a couple brief updates on ongoing litigation. We have the Freeman federal lawsuit, which you'll recall from my last report. We're just waiting for Ms. Freeman to actually pay the court-ordered costs, which are $238. We're still waiting on that, despite the fact that it's been several months. She also has her New York State lawsuit that you'll recall we we answered and then asserted counterclaims for malicious prosecution, abuse of process, and defamation. She never responded to those, so on the 31st, we went to court and asked the court for a default judgment, saying that she is in fact liable for those, and the court granted it. So we're just working out the precise wording of the order right now. Unfortunately, that doesn't completely get rid of the initial lawsuit, but we're putting steps in place right now to have that dismissed as well. So she has been found liable for malicious prosecution, abuse of process, and defamation. And then there's the I-Square litigation. So I think since we last reported at a workshop, the court did issue a preliminary injunction, and there's certain steps that have to be taken. Compliance was due by the 2nd. I don't think that's happened yet. The importance of the preliminary injunction being issued really can't be overstated, because one of the criteria for a preliminary injunction to issue is that the people seeking the injunction need to prove that they're likely to succeed on the merits. So it's almost foreshadowing of what will happen at the end of the case. And the court sided with us and said, yes, absolutely, it's likely that you're going to proceed on the merits. So there is a bit of a procedural hiccup in that the defendant, I-Square, has fired its attorney, and the attorneys are asking to be withdrawn from the case, removed from the case by the court, because they can only do so by court order. Companies, LLCs, need to appear through counsel. They can't appear pro se, so there likely will be some time that has to go by while new counsel is arranged for, but the town remains, open to settling this on terms that protect its citizens and make sense for everyone involved. So, certainly that's never far from our mind as we continue to pursue the claims. And then we just have other litigation being handled by the insurance company in the regular course. No developments that are worth noting right now.
Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question on the January 31st litigation. My understanding is Ms. Freeman or her attorney didn't show up, correct?
That's exactly right.
Okay, so, we went through this lawsuit with the town board members and the town, got thrown out in 2 courts, Second Circuit Court, went through all this, then they have a lawsuit. I got interviewed, everybody got interviewed on that case, never produced any doctor or any medical, never got an interview like the rest of us. Obviously, there was a press conference, of course there was a press conference. And then we go all the way to here, and then there's a court case, nobody shows. So I think everybody has to have an idea what was going on here. I think the total lawsuit between the two was $3 million, I believe, between the two. Was it?
No, I think it was actually, at one point it was as much as $5 million.
Okay.
$3 million just in the state lawsuit.
Okay, so after all this, all this, our case gets thrown out of merits, this case goes to court, nobody shows up, so I think everybody can get an idea what was going on here, because I was in the middle of it all.
Mr. Perdicone, can you just clarify for the public who the interview was by? You said you were interviewed for
Yeah,
this.
I remember his name, he came,
It was part of our preparing our defense.
Okay, all right, thank you.
because
That's only for clarity.
we were all interviewed because we were witnesses, and everybody got interviewed but Councilwoman Freeman at the time, so. But it's just, it's a little frustrating that we had to go through all this. It's been over 2 years now, and two cases get thrown out, and then this one they don't even show up for, so. $5 million, I think I'd be showing up, so, okay. That's my-
Great, any further
my
questions?
comments.
Honorable Controller?
Pretty much business as usual, anxiously awaiting Diana's return tomorrow. Busy trying to keep moving to wrap up 2023 year end, which we hope to have all our actions concluded by the end of February. The auditors are due in, I think, March 18th to start up on site for the year end. And then obviously we're in 24, so we have to keep moving ahead, getting everything set up and started up for 24. So busy, but all is good, so.
Mr. Controller, will you please give the financial report?
So for this report, we're presenting a preliminary look at the 23 financial results for the town as of December 31st again. The 23 books will not close until the end of February to allow for receipt and processing of outstanding commitments and to account for and properly book the remaining revenue that's outstanding and owed to the town. Again, during the March Town Board meeting, we'll present the most current 23 preliminary results, along with starting the 2024 monthly financial reports. The town's auditors from Bonadil Group will present highlights of the audited 23 financial statements and audit report upon completion of their audit work. The 23 financial results as of December 31st are obviously 100% of the year has elapsed, and the town's total expenses are on par with the budget at 100.8%, or a sum of $43,821,000. Encumbrances are $1,247,000 still at this point in time, and actual expenses total $42,573,000. The actual expenses by themselves equate to 97.9% of the budget, and encumbrances are still an important part of the town's outstanding commitments and are at 2.9% of the budget right now. The general fund expenses are slightly lower than budget at 99.3%, or $27,286,000. The actual expenditures are 97.5% of budget, or $26,766,000, and 1.9%, or about $520,000, remains in open encumbrances. Overall, the expenses in the highway funds are above budget at 111.6%, total of approximately $7,293,000. The costs in these funds result from considerable expenses for salt, gas, paving, as were anticipated. The overage of expenditures results from additional paving and will be offset by a rollover of 2022 CHIPS revenue, as well as additional 2023 CHIPS funding that became available. So we basically paved what we knew we were going to be able to get back in the CHIPS reimbursement. The library expenditures are 99.8% of budget, or a total of $2,790,000. Expenses in the sewer fund of $4,132,000 are below budget at 94.2%. Stormwater drainage expenses are approximately 99% of budget, or a total of $930,000. Regarding the entire town, 100% of revenue and appropriated fund balance of $42,313,000 has been documented to date. The general fund has recorded revenue of $26,295,000, or 99.6% of budget. Real estate tax of $12,007,000 has been collected. 97.7% of payment in lieu of tax or pilot payments. Revenue of almost $252,000 has been received. 8 months of sales tax revenue in the amount of $4,754,000, or 83.4% of budget, and the New York State AIM payment of $613,000 have been received. Mortgage tax for the first 3 quarters of $645,000 has also been received to date. Additional revenue to be recorded before we get to the end of the books will include the 6 months of franchise fees, 4 months of sales tax, and 3 months of mortgage tax. At month end, the library had confirmed revenue of $2,818,000, or 100.8% of budget. 103.7%, or $6,773,000 of revenue has been recorded by the highway funds. 99.4% of sewer fund of $4,335,000 has been verified. And stormwater drainage has received 99.4% of its budgeted revenue, which was $882,000. This concludes the second preliminary financial report for December of '23 as of January 31st, '24.
Thank you, Mr. Control.
You're welcome.
Any questions? We will now move to the agenda portion of the meeting. Madam Clerk, please read the first item.
First item would be authorizing the appointment of a permanent office clerk 2 in the town of Arundecoy's Police Department.
Chief Peters.
Yes, sir. This will be for the promotion of one of our Clerk 3s to Clerk 2, Rosalina Hosbach. Her and one of the other clerks took the competitive test last year, and after interviews, she was determined to be the candidate we wanted to promote.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk, next item.
Authorizing the appointment of a senior dispatcher in the Department of Public Works.
Madam Commissioner.
Yes, thank you. You will see the next 2 resolutions are for senior dispatchers. So clearly we're in need of a couple. But this would onboard 2 well-seasoned dispatchers. One comes from the city of Rochester, and the Anita Moore. She's had a very interesting career path, which makes her extremely, I feel, well-suited. She has been with, she was a nursing manager, and then she worked for the city of Rochester driving a bus, and then she got herself into their Department of Environmental Services, kind of like their public works, and she's a quick learn. She knows how to operate various pieces of equipment, which I think will make her very well suited to dispatch in the office and know what needs to happen to make work happen. So I think that'll be awesome. And she's a very exciting person. I'm very excited to be bringing her name to get her into the department. And
Thank you, Madam Commissioner.
do you want me to talk about the other candidate?
Yes.
The under candidate, Rebecca McLean, works for the Monroe County DOT dispatch office. We've actually dealt with her, in our workings. When you call the county, she has a vast knowledge of office management and how, they manage the traffic cameras and so the asset management part of the job, I think she'll be extremely great for, and bringing them both in at the same time will bring in this kind of group mentality. I feel like that they're both kind of own everything that needs to happen together and learn and understand our operation very quickly because they already understand the grassroots of it. So they just need to understand how we work, and I think that'll be great. So they're both extremely good candidates.
Thank you, Madam Commissioner. Any discussion?
Well, go ahead, Grant.
Go ahead, John. No.
The only question I have, we're gonna appoint some of these people, and HR's not here, but I'd like to see some resumes.
Yep.
The resumes are available for you in HR.
Okay. Not gonna
So-
send them out, we gotta go get them, all right. I'll go see, well, she's probably gone by now, but I'll get them, okay.
Okay.
For all the appointments, anything tonight?
Yeah. And so I think it was January, so that we have them up for you to
Okay,
look at for all the appointments.
okay, thanks.
The only question I have, Madam Commissioner, is are these new positions or they're replacements from past positions?
That is
Okay.
correct. Yep,
Thank you.
no problem.
And I think right now, we don't really have a dispatcher, do we, Aaron, right now, right?
You are correct.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, read the next item.
So this is authorizing the appointment of a second senior dispatcher in the Department of Public Works, which Commissioner Aaron just spoke on. The fourth resolution would be authorizing the reappointment of a full-time deputy court clerk in the Arundecoyt Town Court.
Ms. Nash? Okay. Judge Valentino? Can you come up to the mic, please?
We took a lot of your time at the last meeting. This is reappointment of our deputy court clerk, who we feel is a very important, it's a very important position in our court. It was asked for about a year and a half ago. The judges asked for the position to be basically upgraded. The position has been taken away, but we are very happy that the board is allowing us to put in this resolution for your consideration to reappoint that position so our court can get back to working as a full team. Fortunately for us, Kim Kimball, who had that position, has been able to stay with us temporarily. We anticipate if this does pass that she would go right back into that position, and then Judge Brian Green can appoint his court clerk that he gets to appoint as he was just elected. And we may have provided this before, but we do have Kim Kimball's work experience here for all of you too. So, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Any discussion?
Yeah, I have a question. She's back there working now. She's been working, right? As a clerk. Right, okay, so the only thing, the question I have is we have this, the amount that we have for salary and benefits, that's for 12 months, I'm assuming, right?
Correct.
Right? So
Yes.
this isn't gonna be the total amount that we're gonna take out of the general fund, if it's gonna be 10 months worth.
2 months, correct.
All right, so we're gonna have to adjust these. She's getting paid clerks, well, I don't know what she's getting paid,
Yeah,
does anybody know?
It's significantly less. I mean, if you're just talking salary,
Yeah.
it's, her old position, I believe, was 52, 551, and the clerk position is 46.
All right,
Yes.
so that's the only thing I'm getting at, we'll have to adjust what we have in front of us, because it's gonna be 10 months worth, it's not gonna be 12 months, that's
Correct.
all.
Yes.
Good point.
Okay, and this is coming out of the general fund again, right? So I think this will be interesting when we do our audit this year. We'll have to talk when Bonadil does the audit, and I think he's here June, I believe, so it'll be some things we'll have to talk about if this is gonna affect us, because this is gonna be 2 positions out of the general fund, so this is trying to make sure that it's gonna be 10 months out of this package and not 12. Okay.
Also, I mean, we are hoping that this is a one-time general fund issue. We're hoping that this is
Wow.
back in our budget next year.
Yeah.
So, any other questions for me?
I do have a question. For your last presentation, I was under the impression that Brian Green's clerk was in the budget. Is that accurate or not?
Correct.
Okay, just want to clarify
That
that.
person's not here though, right? She's been, whoever it is. been
Whoever
waiting.
that may be,
So, yeah, so.
Okay.
I know Judge Green has had discussions with a specific person about possibly coming in. That's not a done deal yet. He was very kind to us and to Kim Kimball to allow her just to shift over temporarily so she could stay with us with the hopes of us getting this job back.
Now, Councilman Perticon, we've had, my hope is that nothing changes as far as raising taxes. We've had very strong inquiries for doing business in Arundecoit. So that's the other good news, that I think that the more we drive that economic engine, that this won't come from the taxpayer, it'll come from the additional revenues from other places. And in the several weeks, I'll lay out another plan to drive more revenue with the business community. We're just working on the numbers and finalizing that there now.
Well, I think in the past, the general funds really held up very well, so we do have quite a bit of cushion there to take on this, so that's the only concern I have.
Yeah, but we want to make sure that doesn't change.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that we're gonna have to figure out what 10 months is worth taken out of the fund instead of 12. That's all.
All right, I just want to thank all of you for listening to us and also considering this. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Any further discussion?
I'm good.
Madam Clerk?
Reappointing Conservation Board members.
Maybe you want to take that one?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I will step in for Ms. Nichols here. So the Conservation Board is an advisory board to the town, and it's people who are very thoughtful about approaching different environmental type and land use issues and providing advisory opinions. They, all of them, their appointments expired on December 31st of 2023. So here is 6 different members who will be reappointed for another 2-year term.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk, read the next item.
Authorizing the appointment of an assessor.
I'll take that one. We had interviews of 4 very, very qualified candidates, and we selected Anthony Costanza, a veteran, a multiple Bronze Star winner, and he served in the equivalent position for the United States Air Force. And we look forward, Anthony has accepted the position, and we look forward to him starting work as soon as we vote him in.
All right, I'm gonna get his resume and look through it. If I got some questions, I'll let you know.
Correct.
Okay?
And he was, we did send his resume because of the, for the public knowledge, sometimes the military jobs directly translate, sometimes they don't. And in his case, we did have the Civil Service evaluate his resume, and he came back very highly qualified. Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Calling for a public hearing on the matter of granting a special use permit for 5370 St. Paul Boulevard in the C Business District and referring the same to the Planning Board for comment.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. As I think this board is well aware, there is a quirk in Arundecoy town law that if there's going to be more than 30 people in a restaurant or bar, if there's going to be seating for more than 30 people, they need a special use permit. I've heard it referred to as the blue gardenia rule. So this is an application for a special use permit by Fifth Frame Brewing. This actually won't, the resolution that will be considered next week won't actually grant that special use permit. It only schedules the public hearing about the special use permit. So that hearing will take place in March.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Attorney. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk?
Calling for a public hearing on the matter of granting a special use permit for 300 St. Joseph Street in an RR Rural Residential District.
Madam Attorney?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This is another special use permit. This one's slightly different in that it's a residential property and the applicants are looking to build an in-law suite. Those are only allowed through a special use permit as per town code. So again, this particular resolution that will be considered next week won't be for the special use permit itself, but it will be scheduling a hearing on the matter for March. Oh, and I should mention too, both of these that are scheduling hearings are also referring to the planning board for their comments.
Thank you very much. Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Regarding State Environmental Quality Review Act compliance in the matter of rezoning application for a portion of 1700 Hudson Avenue, tax ID number 091.07-1-9629.2, from R4 to residential, R4 residential to C Business District.
Madam Attorney?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. So these next two resolutions deal with the project that Mr. White so kindly described earlier today. And this first resolution deals with SEQR. That's the State Environmental Quality Review Act. Typically with SEQR, you have to start the process to make sure that there aren't any significant adverse environmental impacts from a proposed use. You have to start that as early as possible in the review process. And you have to do it just once. You don't want to break it up into parts. But here, given that there's a couple different processes going on before a couple different boards, it makes sense to what we call segment the review right now. And so just for this rezoning application, we're going to classify it as an unlisted action, and that it does not present any sort of anticipated negative environmental effects from just the rezoning. So there'll be a negative declaration for it.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Approving an application on the matter of rezoning a portion of 17 Hudson Avenue, tax ID number 091.07.1.96.2, from R4 residential to C Business District.
Madam Attorney?
I will just jump in. Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This is the second resolution that will be dealing with the project that Mr. White addressed earlier. And this particular application is to the town board for rezoning a portion of the property that this project is going to be occupying. It's a weird situation. There's a little parcel that's part of the project that is actually zoned residential. And to make it appropriate for use as anticipated, the applicant is asking that it be rezoned to C Business District.
I do have a question. The State Environmental Quality Review, is it a third party that does that, or how is it normally handled?
So for the SEQR review, we do have some capacity to do it in-house. Sometimes we ask the town attorney to do it. For this particular one, I did have conversations with the attorney about the best way to handle it. As I mentioned, it's going to be segmented, so just the rezoning we looked at, and then the planning board will be responsible for seeker for actual changes to the property, such as, any increases in non-porous surfaces, runoff, whether a retention pond is needed. All of that will be addressed by the planning board.
Beautiful, thank you.
Any further discussion? Madam Clerk.
Authorizing adjustment of the mileage reimbursement rate for 2024 to 67 cent, consistent with the rate allowed by the U.S. Internal Revenue Service.
Honorable Controller.
Just as Latasha had read, it's usually an annual resolution because of IRS changes to the personal use of vehicle mileage rates each year. So this, we normally follow that guideline, so this will put us at the 67 cents per mile that IRS uses. And this would only be for the use of personal vehicles for town business that someone would be reimbursed for.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk.
Scheduling a public hearing to provide opportunity for public comment on Arundecoit Community Development Block Grant Program.
So this resolution will call a public hearing at the March Town Board meeting, similar to the public hearings that Megan had talked about that would be occurring on the same date. This will allow residents to comment on any aspects of the town's community development block grant program, or CDBG. And then shortly thereafter, the applications will go out and be received for the new grant year, which will begin 8/1/24. And that process will be led by Diana Marsh, obviously, as controller, and follow the same pattern as it has in prior years.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk.
Authorizing the acceptance of complimentary annual physical exams, core vaccinations, testing, and preventive medications from Lakeside Animal Hospital for the Arundecoit Police Department K-9 unit.
Chief Peters.
Yes, sir. This is a service provided by Lakeside Animal Hospital. She was willing to approached us before we got this project going, and she just purchased this practice about a year ago, and she wanted to actually donate her services to our canines alone.
Any discussion?
Yeah, Chief, is this a donated service? Do I understand that correctly?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Man, we got a vehicle, now we're getting
I know.
that bill. Well, it is good, Chief. Good job.
Madam Clerk.
Authorizing the supervisor to enter into contract and accepting funding for DWI programs.
Chief Peters.
Yes, sir. This is just a normal MOU entered into with the County of Monroe every year to accept our Stop DWI grant funding.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk.
Authorizing entry into agreement with Wegmans Food Markets Incorporated for IPD presence at supermarket.
Chief Peters.
Yes, sir. Again, this is a yearly MOU entered into with Wegmans to have our uniform presence at the 525 Titus Avenue location.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk.
Authorizing the purchase of 2 specially bred and trained K-9 dogs for the Town of Arundecoit Police Department K-9 unit.
Chief.
Yes, sir. These were the 2 Dutch Shepherds I spoke about before. And again, Larry Donk, who's a retired Arundecoit police officer, owns Armor Security. He previously already donated the $16,000 for the purchase of the dogs. So,
Wow.
again, he's covered all the costs.
Wow.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk.
Authorizing the purchase of one track-mounted sidewalk tractor plow with snow removal attachments to be used by the Department of Public Works.
Madam Commissioner?
Yes, this is a budgeted item to procure a new sidewalk plow. We're piggybacking off of a City of Auburn bid, and yeah, we will be receiving this year, which is exciting. So even though there's no snow, I'm okay. We'll have it for the future. It's sidewalk plowing is extremely important. People, we plow a lot of sidewalks in this town, so reliable equipment is paramount.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I have a question. Is this a replacement or an addition to the fleet?
No, this is a replacement.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Clerk?
Declaring certain equipment as surplus property.
Madam Commissioner?
This is, we do this a few times a year, but it's to surplus older equipment that we have replaced, that we no longer need the attached items you can see in your attachment A.
Madam Commissioner, what happens to that equipment? Do we have an auction or?
We do. We typically put it on, everything since COVID has been an online municipal auction, so yes, that is what we'll do,
Thank you.
of course.
Any further discussion? Madam Clerk?
Awarding bid for Seneca Road reconstruction.
Madam Commissioner?
Yes, thank you. As I spoke earlier, but this is an exciting project. We've put a lot of legwork into this. We're going back and forth with Labella and the design, and then we've communicated with the residents and the members of the boat club a fair amount. We feel really good about the approach, and Keeler Construction got the lowest bid. We feel very comfortable with their bid. Labella vetted them, and yeah, we're very excited to get this project underway.
Any discussion?
I'm just curious, is there an estimated cost of this project?
So the bid numbers and the estimate were actually really, really close, which is always a good feeling.
Definitely.
You never know, but yeah, we're very excited. So it's just about just under $1 million.
Okay.
And, I'm not sure how much you know, but this road has been plagued with a few incidences. So
100%.
to protect me and my family on Thanksgiving or Christmas, which just tends to be in this town when bad things happen. So we're gonna fix the road.
Perfect, thank you. Yep.
Madam Clerk?
Accepting gifts of benches.
Madam Commissioner?
Yes, this is to accept a donation of a couple benches at the Seabreeze walking path as well as Bateau Terrace. These are people that have approached us and wanted to buy a bench along these trails. So we kindly accept. So what we propose that we kindly accept we have them order a bench that would fall in line with the same type that we use. So it's uniform across our parks and the ones that we're used to maintaining.
Will we do a placard for their names?
That is correct. So the deal usually that we broker is that they purchase the equipment and everything that we need to install it, and we install it.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Authorizing the supervisor to sign the calculation worksheet for New York State snow and ice for the 2023-2024 season.
Madam Commissioner?
Yes, thank you. This is an annual resolution with the state of New York for the snow and ice removal. It's primarily Empire Boulevard. That's the state road that we plow for them. So every year they look at the 3-year average of costs, and they take into account the FEMA rates for our equipment and obviously in our manpower hours to plow the roads, and they recoup our cost to plow the road.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Authorizing the purchase of one patch truck to be used by the Department of Public Works.
Madam Commissioner?
So this is to procure a new patch truck within the department. Our patch truck is getting a little long in the tooth, I guess I would say. And so this is a slight deviation from our original budget. We were going to purchase 2 dump trucks with this money, but we really need a patch truck, and we also have the availability to get a patch truck within the next month or 2, as opposed to placing an order for a dump truck and waiting 3 years. So this is a budgeted item. We're just switching one of the dump trucks to buy a patch truck.
Any discussion?
Aaron, will this will also be used when they raise up manhole covers and all that? Is that?
Absolutely.
Because, I was on that crew for a day, and
Yep.
that was a big thing that, I think they had to go get it from somewhere else, correct?
That is correct.
Right, so now we'll do it in-house?
That is correct.
So then they can immediately patch the road around the manhole cover when they raise it up, or drop it, whichever it is, okay?
Yeah. Our other patch truck, we've been making some pretty costly repairs to it, and it's time. We need to get a new one out.
Well, it's nice that they can finish what they're doing, you
That's
know what I
true.
mean?
Yep, no, I appreciate
Once they
that.
do it, they can patch it, and then they can move on to the next one, because I think that I don't know, they did a half a dozen or more that day, I think, so that would be good. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Madam Clerk?
Authorizing the supervisor to enter into an intermunicipal agreement with Monroe County.
Madam Commissioner?
This is a resolution. We're still working out the details with the county and the terms of such agreement, but we're hoping to get back some language from them this week. This is a agreement with the Ready Project, which is led by the city of Rochester, down in the St. Paul terminus area. So if you remember back when the water rose, that roundabout got filled with water and you couldn't drive through it, so the county had to close it. So this a particular agreement, it's been a couple years in the works of engineering and design and such, but our Somerville pump station would be getting an upgrade in that project, and the county would be installing a stormwater pump station in the middle of that circle, which would keep the roundabout free and clear of water, and they would have a shared generator. So this agreement would be about the long-term care and maintenance of that generator going forward between us and the county DOT.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Authorizing the supervisor to enter into various contracts with independent contractors from Local B90 for staffing of parking personnel, ticket takers, and ticket sellers for various town special events.
Madam Director?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution is in regards to our annual contract with the local B90 folks. We can use them for various special events for, as Madam Clerk had mentioned, ticket taking, as well as what we primarily use them for is the annual July 4th festival, where they provide support, checking identification at our beverage garden, and then also overnight security for the vendors who leave a lot of their goods and products on site for the multi-day festival.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Facilitating the planning of special events.
Madam Director?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution was born of several conversations regarding special event planning and the need for some flexibility in terms of executing and rearranging as necessary when it comes to contracts, specifically having to do with folks that provide food and entertainment at our special events. For folks who have ever been involved in special event planning, there are a lot of kind of circumstances beyond our control that can impact the execution and success of the event, such as, inclement weather a vendor or performer canceling at the last minute and needing to find a replacement and that sort of thing. So this resolution would actually just allow myself to enter into some of those lower-end contracts, $2,000 and less for entertainment and food vendors for our special events, and then also the flexibility to make adjustments when there are, circumstances beyond our control that we need to act quickly and can't bring contracts back in front of the board in a timely fashion.
Thank you. Any discussion? Madam Clerk. Sorry. Now we move to items for board action.
The town clerk's office is asking that the first resolution be pulled, which was authorizing the appointment of a permanent office clerk in the clerk's office. We're asking that that resolution be pulled.
Do we have to vote on that, or just pull it? Just pull, okay.
Second, resolution for board action, authorizing a capital lease financing agreement with M&T Bank for plow truck for the Bureau of Public Works.
We gotta do the office clerk one first, right?
Yeah, the office clerk's been pulled.
That's it?
That was pulled.
Oh, it was pulled, okay.
Can I get a motion?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion?
So this resolution authorizes the supervisor to execute the lease agreement with M&T Bank for a plow truck that we have received. Purchase was authorized by Resolution 2023-026, and the leasing was approved at the January workshop. This will give the supervisor, with Megan's approval, permission to sign off on the documents, which tentatively, if everything is approved and all the paperwork is in order, we'll be closing on tomorrow per the bank.
So on these, one question I have on these leases, do we get a residual on that?
Right.
I mean, do we ever buy them after it comes off a lease? Aaron, is it something that's always considered when it comes off a lease? Do we know the residual when we go into the lease, though? Does anybody know that? Do we get that number?
There were some previous lease to own contracts that we had. I think the prior investigator cars that are being converted to the fire marshal cars, we ended up buying out, I think the Jeeps way back in the day. But I think we got away from that for whatever reason, I'm not quite sure. So these lately, I don't know if they're explored for lease to buy.
Okay.
But right now, it's just paying off no different than you getting a 6-year car loan or something.
Yeah, they'll give us an option with what it's worth when it comes off a lease, right? Whatever, I don't know.
Well, actually, the lease is, the capital lease is a term. It's actually no different than financing something, so.
Okay, thanks.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Resolution has passed. Madam Clerk?
Authorizing the supervisor to sign a notice of intent with the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation.
Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Discussion?
I do have a point about the responsibility of the town with this particular item. I'd like to be clear that by signing this off, we're only stating that we're responsible for what any runoff maybe come from a town facility as far as responsibility moving forward for the DEC.
If I could.
Yeah, Madam Commissioner?
Yeah, us signing, so the notice of intent and our compliance with the stormwater permit, the
Correct.
general permit, it it outlines these 6 minimum control measures that is what we are responsible
Okay.
for, is that we are educating and reaching out to the public about these efforts. We're managing our construction sites in a way so they don't cause runoff with sediment or other issues. And it also says that in-house, we will make sure that that we're not contributing to the water quality.
Thank you.
That is what we're agreeing to, yes.
Yep, thank you.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The resolution has passed. And this concludes our workshop meeting on February 12th, 2024. Our next meeting is the regular meeting on Thursday, February 22nd, 2024, at 7 p.m. here in the Broderick Room. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All,
We need a second.
I'm sorry. Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The meeting is adjourned.